Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Saturday edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Parish Construction and Roofing. Need an orthopedist? Go to Brock, need a roof? Call Parish. Unique Physique, uniquephysique.com, Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com. Also, Unique Aesthetics and Wellness. And Bocock Brothers Premium Cigars. Hopefully today I'll be smoking a victory cigar after LSU beats Alabama. Hopefully. Ha, ha. Hi, Drew. Drew's awake. Ha, ha. All right, everybody. Good morning. LSU, Alabama game day, Tigers and Tide. Probably the least amount of anticipation we've had for this game. Well, I mean, 2021 was similar. I mean, Ed had been fired. He was a lame duck coach at that point. LSU was a 28-point underdog that day in Tuscaloosa, and then ended up losing 20-14. Had a pass into the end zone to win it, if you remember that game. But so see what the Tigers can cook up tonight. A lot of what we talked about. I think they'll certainly run the ball more. Interested to see how the matchup goes with LSU's secondary against the Alabama receivers. That's the good on good matchup. The sort of bad on bad for both sides would be the running game against the run defense. So which team can get going on the ground? And you're just going to have Garrett Nussmeier play like the guy he was for much of last year, not like what he's been for the most of this year. He's going to have to be a guy that goes out and makes plays for you and elevates the offense. If you're going to have a chance to win this game today. So here's open, man. Tigers are plenty talented. I know you got the sense this week talking to a lot of the players, both on the record and off the record, that they really want to win this game for Frank Wilson. There's a lot of feeling in that locker room that they want Frank to get the job. And I don't know how realistic that is, at least not today. I don't think it's realistic at all. But if he wins, then you start to get some wind in those sails. And this would be massive, you know. Like if he goes 4-0, there's a real possibility. So starts tonight. See if LSU can go on the road and beat Alabama. All right, we'll say some good morning, y'all. Please smash that like button if you would. Subscribe to the channel. Facebook, like the page, share the post. Appreciate everybody for hanging out with us this morning. As always, hope your football Saturday is a great one. Otter locks are live at louisianasports.net, by the way, for those who are interested in playing along. Let's see. I got to get my bets in too, speaking of. Kind of like Georgia to cover Mississippi State. I like Indiana. That's a big number, but I don't care. I think they cover blowout Penn State. Wow, BYU's up to 13.5. Texas Tech. Wow. It's just such a big number. Keep betting against BYU all season. I guess I'll go with them this time. Hi, Drew. Anyway. All right, let's say some good mornings here. See what y'all got. Hey, Jesse, good morning. Hope the Tigers can get a dub. Interested in the matchup between Bama's receivers, Delane for LSU. True test. Yeah, I think on both sides, right? I think this will be the best secondary Bama's faced all year so far. And I think this was the best passing game LSU will have faced. We thought that was the case against Clemson. I mean, they had two all-conference wide receivers and veteran quarterback, and Clemson just isn't very good, as we've seen. But very, very similar. Hey, Hunter, good morning. Let's see a fake punt today. I'm here for it, man. In the right situation. Bubba, Kelly, Chef, good morning. Hey, Thomas, good morning. Shabbat Shalom, good morning. Randall, good morning. Almost baseball championship season. Women's basketball, too. Let's see. Put my money on Alabama. Okay. Probably a smart bet. I don't know. Kind of like if you're going to play the game, if you can get LSU 10.5, I kind of like LSU in the points if you were going to bet it. I'm not sure that I love it, but that wouldn't be my favorite play on the board today. But I mean, remember, it's not like LSU wasn't competitive in their losses on the road against Ole Miss and Vanderbilt. They got away, and they were winning at halftime against A&M. It got away from them in the second half against A&M, but I think they'll be competitive. Hey, Corey, good morning. Thanks for everything you do. Love listening to you each morning. Thank you, Corey. Very kind, man. Thank you for being there. Appreciate that. Hey, Tiger Diver, morning. Look forward to a joyous whiskey and wine tonight. I hope so, man. That'd be amazing. Day 12, we'll get it. Thomas, good morning. Or Jay Thompson, sorry. Jacob, yeah, that's right. Sorry. Good morning. LSU's going to upset Bama calling it. Remember, if they do, you said you jump in your pool. I don't remember that. Gumptious, good morning. Go Wave. Yeah, how about that? Nice win last night. Hope you have a great Saturday. Hey, James, good morning. Christian, if LSU had coaches who knew how to call plays and we could execute, I honestly don't think this game would be close. Oh, you mean LSU would be one-sided? I don't know that I'd go that far, man. I think it's pretty obvious that LSU's offensive line is a pretty glaring weakness. Kern's expected to play tonight. Whit Weeks will not. So see how they manage defensively another game without Whit. And then, if Kern plays, if he starts there at left tackle, how effective he's able to be. Let's see. Morning, Matt. Daughter's birthday's today. Turning 1 year old. Love that. Smoked brisket, flat iron, dino ribs, or dino ribs, I guess. Pork steaks and more. Love that, man. What a great day. Happy birthday to your daughter. Great celebration, man. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Hey, Weston, good morning. Hunting with a little girl this morning who just shot her first buck. Awesome, man. What a great moment for y'all. Y'all know I'm not a hunter, so I can't really relate on that end, but that's really cool that y'all get to do a great thing like that together. So what a memory. Good deal, man. Congratulations. Hope she's fired up. Yes, this is Brendan Huff. Game day. Frank locked in. I believe he is. Hey, Lutcher Will, good morning. Happy game day. Sergeant King, good morning. Happy game day. Yeah, thank God it is game day. We actually get a game to talk about today instead of all the stuff we've talked about the last 2 weeks. Hey, Carlos, good morning. Thank you for the show. You got it, man. Thanks for being there. Hey, Club, good morning. Like your and Ryan's thoughts on Mike Denbrock. Yeah, so we talked. So someone asked yesterday on the show text line about what about Denbrock as a candidate for the head coaching job, and no one's mentioned it before. As far as like coaching odds or any of that sort of stuff, there's two ways that it makes sense for sure. There's the financial component of it, right? You wouldn't have to give the big expensive long-term contract. You could do a lesser incentive-based contract. So that's one piece. And then you could take a lot of your funds and invest them in staff and roster and all that sort of stuff. That's one way to look at it. The other is Mike Denbrock is a player's coach. He is he's a brilliant offensive mind. I mean, he was the guy that was it was his offense when LSU had the Heisman Trophy winner. Now I get, Jaden Daniels, who was outstanding, but that's Denbrock calling plays and it was his offense. So, and players love him and relate to him, and he's a relational person. The one knock people would say is he's 61. So would you want to hire a coach nearer the end of his career than the beginning? But he's a young 61, I'll tell you that. Known Mike, and he would take the job in a millisecond. So it's an interesting one to consider. Let's see. Great interview with Gordon. Glad he revealed the truth about BK. Something you push back on, which I respect. I want to be very clear. I don't know that he revealed the truth about BK. He revealed his opinion about BK, which I have said many times is if you find a roster of 120 players, you will find people that say negative things. You will also find people that say positive things. What he said are the guys on his team, the G team, the handful of guys that he did NIL deals with. Okay, that can be their opinion. And there's people who don't agree with that. Whit Weeks, Colin Hurley, chief among them, who put those comments on social media. So you can find people who will say negative things about Brian Kelly, and you'll find people who say positive things about Brian Kelly. So that wasn't the truth. That was his opinion. Ryan, good morning. JTL just win. Let's see. Pork Allen Pat, what's up? Roll Tide 99. Thoughts on Jim Beam? Have a feeling I'm having a good bourbon and Coke tonight. That feels like an emotional hedge. And actually, Jim Beam Black pretty routinely wins blind taste test contests because they've obviously done a great job for a lot of years with the consistency of the taste. That's something that has mass appeal, which is why people enjoy it. It's a good Jim Beam Black is a good bourbon. Chuck, what up, dude? Good morning. Let's see. Of course, God, that's so stupid. Deborah, good morning. Sergeant, good morning. About to go to I guess it's supposed to be Bama LSU game. Yeah, Bama LSU game. I think Blake Baker stays on the Tiger staff. I think it depends who gets the job. Like if Drinkwitz got the job, then yes, I do think Blake Baker would stay on staff. For example, if you do hire Lane Kiffin, then obviously he's going to bring Pete Golding with him. So there you go. So in that instance, then no, Blake Baker would not be on staff. So I think it really depends on who gets the job. Like if they retain Frank Wilson, Frank would, I'm sure, retain Blake Baker, right? So I think it depends. Ryan McGuire, what's up? Love him plus 14.5. Penn State, 14.5. Yeah, man. Drew's running around this morning. I just want a good coach and a win tonight. Alabama has to play expecting anything. It's the unknown. There is that component of it where whenever you have an interim, there is a component of like you don't know what to expect. I mean, that's true. So I'll be interested to see how that goes tonight. I guess I'm going into this game. Like, this is a good way to put it. LSU's playing house money the rest of the season. It's true. I mean, look, you came into the year with great expectations. You beat Clemson. You get all the way up to number 3 in the country. And now you have 3 losses before November. So you're not going to the SEC championship. You're not going to the playoff. I mean, I guess there could be something dramatic that happens. Like if you go on this uncanny run and you just wax Alabama tonight and you just roll through your next 4 games and you finish 9-3. And then there's a bunch of upsets. Like maybe you could find a way at 9-3. I doubt it. Like I don't think having a blowout loss like you had against A&M at home could get you. But again, like we're being real. Like for all intents and purposes, your goals are gone. But it's just a point when you fire your coach where it's like, okay, here's a line that you say you're just sort of resetting. And you have to have someone that players will line up behind. Frank Wilson's that guy. Beat Bama. Hello from Germany. Okay. Oh, you're buying LSU up to 14.5. Got it. That's got to be expensive, man. Juice them. That's got to be expensive. Is it in the realm of possibility Frank can get the head coaching job? If they win, I mean, here's what I would tell you. Like right now, no. And let's just say that that's not an opinion, okay? And you'd have to trust me on that. There you go. But that's as of now. Now, if they win tonight, there you go. If they win tonight, and I think they're going to win the next 2 weeks. You're at home against Arkansas, who's awful, and Western Kentucky, and you'll just way outman them. You go into Norman that final weekend with a real possibility of Frank playing his way into that conversation. What I'm saying is, like, you win tonight, then you're going to have 3 weeks of build up to say, Um, you're going to have 3 weeks of buildup to say to make that argument for him, and then if you go beat Oklahoma, like we're having a very different conversation, and I think then all of a sudden the people making the decision are going to have a really difficult decision to make. They may have their eyes elsewhere right now, but Frank can make it really uncomfortable if he starts winning. That starts tonight. Let's see. I hope LSU uses Perk more as a pass rusher in this game instead of linebacker in coverage. He's going to be a big liability today if they continue to let him play linebacker. Adrian John, good morning from the West Side. Dylan Nation, good morning from Cali. Not by choice, go Tigers. California's beautiful, though, man. Ben, what's up, man? Daniel, good morning, 4-0 and some 0-7 chaos making the playoffs. Like, it would take that, right? You wouldn't say impossible, but let's just say highly, highly, highly unlikely. Wacky Chris, morning, win or lose. I want them to look like they care and have good energy. I'm fairly certain that'll happen. The thing that would surprise me most tonight is if LSU went out and just laid down and got rolled. That would surprise me. I didn't pick LSU to win this game. I think you have two teams that are very, very comparable in their strengths and their weaknesses. Not as good on the offensive line. Very talented at receiver. Like this song, Erica? What? You take a bath, Erica? Run defense for both teams isn't great. Strength in the secondary. The big difference is quarterback. What, baby? Daddy put you in the tub, Erica? His thing now is he wants me to, because I'll say Erica's name like Erica. I'll do that sometimes, and so he wants me to do that at the end of every sentence, no matter what the sentence is. New morning, Scone, Erica, like that. We're gonna put Daddy there, put you in tub, Erica. What? Hey, do you want to say hi to Dad show? You want to come say hi to Dad show? No. Do you want to come say hi to Dad show? No. Okay. You want to come say hi to Dad show? No, sir. Okay. Oh, you're gonna fall over. Fall over, Erica. What are you saying? What are you saying? What are you saying? Dad show. Hi, Dad show. Are you so happy? Yes. Hey, what day is today? Saturday. Yeah? And who plays football today on Saturday? Tigers. Tigers, Erica? Who's going to win? Who's going to win today? Tigers. LSU Tigers. There you have it. LSU Tigers are going to win today. LSU Tigers going to win today, Erica? All right, what are we doing? You going to go look at your iPad? No. You play your iPad, Erica? Do that about 10,000 times a day. Austin, good morning. We know we aren't going to the playoffs. Beating Bama would put a giant smile on all our faces. That's true. Would love to have that happen today. Anyone notice Frank Wilson with the Les Miles isms, like saying they finished second in the game against A&M? I did not notice that. Matt, every time we run the ball, we should call Frank. That was like the Pete chance against Missouri when they brought Pete Jenkins back. Matt, if LSU plays Bama close, wins their last freeze, Frank gets serious consideration. So serious consideration and does he get the job are two very different things, right? And I think they have to win today. Go Tigers. Let's see. I'm live. Morning, Matt. I think Talis Lupoy is an interesting choice for head coach. Young and hungry, great recruiter. Need to do our due diligence. Unlike last time, could have had Lanning, didn't consider him. Yeah, I think it's a. I think it is a different world than 4 years ago. It's odd to think of it that way, but it's true. It's just a very different reality with how college football rosters are built, game is played, all that sort of stuff than 4 years ago. You know, when you think of it in that context, like when LSU hired Brian Kelly in late 2021, NIL was 6 months old. Like you didn't have you still had NIL regulations. You know, I mean, it became it became pay for play. But that evolution all happened after Kelly got here, and I just don't think clearly didn't keep up in that evolution. So I think you could hire a different kind of coach. I think if we were on the table, it would likely be as the full-time coach. Fan pressure would be a lot. There would be a lot of support for him, no doubt. Ryan Hollis, longest bye week ever. Tate, more Matt, crazy how much of a turn the season took. Championship hopes for everyone getting fired. Pump for Coach Frank. Win or lose, boys put up a fight. I do believe that. Hey, Brad, good morning. Do you agree with Gordon that Kelly checked out and didn't care? I disagree with that. I mean, like the man did put up $1 million of his own money last year to try to build this roster. I don't think he ever was comfortable with how to build a roster in this era as it evolved. I mean, I keep going back to when he was hired, all the times that, you know, we talked to him about NIL and everything, and his answer was always that he still wanted to build through the high school ranks, recruit and develop, and then supplement in the portal. And then, I just think about things like I've mentioned Lance Hurd. I mean, think about as bad as the LSU offensive line is this year. Like, how different is the season? How different does that unit look if Lance Hurd, a 5-star, sits behind Will Campbell for 2 years and was your starter this year? Like, how different is the offensive line? But those guys don't stay. What if all the receivers you recruited didn't jump in the portal after 1 year? The kid that went to Florida State, I'm blanking on right now. Shelton Sampson. It was a miss, but I mean, these guys leave, and so then you're going in the portal, spending money on receivers. I think it's just a different. And then this year, he went all in on the portal. And I remember talking to Kelly at media days, and I asked him that question point blank in a one-on-one with him. I said, you've always said recruit the high school ranks, develop. This year, you went all in on the portal. Are you just signaling a change of the way you're building rosters? And he said, no, I think we finally had the culture in place to be able to take on guys that would assimilate into our culture. And I'm not saying he's not being truthful. I just think that maybe there's some half-truths there. No, anyway. Consensus picks using all the auto locks. Best bets, Phil Steele, Iowa, Auburn, Missouri. Okay, let's go. I'm rolling with it. Iowa, Auburn, Missouri. Let's go. Oh, Iowa's down to 5.5. Don't love that. Mm. Auburn's down to 5.5. Golly, should have gotten these earlier. Usually it's chalk early, dogs late. Missouri's going to be interesting. I feel like we all gave A&M the kiss of death. Anyway, let's see. Do you think if Denbrock stayed this season would have been different? Yeah. I mean, I do. I think Mike was a more experienced play caller than Joe. I think you would have had more of a commitment to run. But I'll remind you, man, Sloan was the play caller a year ago, and they were, top 10 in passing offense, top 30 in total offense and scoring offense. I mean, they were a really good offense a year ago. Do you feel Witt is opting out in your honest opinion? I do not. Not only do I not feel that, like I know that he's not opting out. Again, I don't know if you've been here, but if you go back and listen to AFR from Nashville, the open, see if I can find it real quick. The open of the show from AFR in Nashville, Witt was questionable. And I told you in the show open, like, he ain't playing. And he ain't close to playing. He wasn't close to playing. And I told you they'd be lucky to have him back for Alabama, and that felt like a stretch. Okay, hang on. Here you go. Let me see if I can find this. So, all that to say, Witt's injury is, I don't know why they're not disclosing it. Like, and I've asked that question because what I've been told. Yeah. Yeah.
Met with reporter press conference. I saw my eyes. Witt Weeks, boot on his foot, walking into a team meeting. It sure sounds like talking around the program today that it's a long shot for Witt Weeks to play in this football game on Saturday. And so if you're down Witt Weeks and Bernard Gooden, and you're already down Gabe Relaford, one of the positions on this team, position groups, your defensive line, in particular defensive front seven, in particular defensive line, thought to be
Anyway.
talented.
Told you in the show, but in Nashville. Sure sounds like it's going to be a long shot for him to play. Anyway. Witt's not opting out. He's got a more serious injury than they're letting on. Ciao, Matt. Love the show. Witt's coming back next year. Lane to head coach. Awkward dinner conversation to be had in the Kiffin household when Witt asked for his daughter's hand in marriage. That's not awkward. That's a beautiful conversation. Matt, what about Oregon OC Klein for head coach? Are you talking about A&M OC Colin Klein? LSU by 7. Would love it. I would love LSU by half a point if they'd allow it. What do you think Baker's defense struggle? Why do you think Baker's defense struggled against mobile quarterback? Don't know. I'm not a smart defensive coach. I don't know. You've got talented guys. You got athletic guys. Either there's a lack of discipline, lack of run fits. I don't know. Does Dave Aranda get a phone call? He'd likely keep most of the staff too. I don't think so. Tiger Diver can't blitz. Quebec play zone. David email. Used to be a casual fan. Baylor may fire Aranda. JD Mathern. Good morning. Thinking about Kiffin. Didn't he underachieve a year ago? He did. Yes. Team of mercenaries missed the playoff. Do you want to invest that much in him? That's a great question. It's a very fair question. I mean, I'll say this. whether it's LSU or staying at Ole Miss or Florida or Penn State or whatever, I think next year Lane Kiffin will be the highest paid coach in college football. Kirby makes 13.3 a year, 13.3. Someone will pay Lane that much or more than that. So are you willing to sign Lane Kiffin, give him $14 million a year, but a shorter term deal, like a 6-year deal at $14 million per, with the understanding that he'll be here for at least 4 years. So even if you bought him out after 4 years, then that's a $28 million buyout. Like, that's still a lot of money. It's not as much as 53. So is that more palatable? I don't know. Would he take it? Right. For Mississippi State head coaching, former Florida head coach coaching Danny. Are you talking about Mullen? You talking about Dan Mullen? I mean, I have heard Dan Mullen's name. I think Dan Mullen's is a really smart offensive coach. Brilliant. Like game plan, game caller. Just never had all the talent at Mississippi State and then didn't recruit at Florida, which was always the big knock on him. And I would argue that recruiting now is done more with your front office and a checkbook. So I wouldn't hate that. Run the ball. Amen. Hey, Robbie, what about the Texas Tech coach? Huge name in Texas, especially on the high school side. Yeah, you're talking about McGuire. Joey McGuire's done a great job at Texas Tech. I think the question is, if he can get Texas Tech into the playoff this year, do you need to go to LSU? Like, that's the big difference, I think, now with a lot of these hires is, or a lot of these coaches is in this era with an expanded playoff and NIL, rev share, all that stuff. The advantages that Alabama, Georgia, LSU, Ohio State, like the powers that be have always had, are neutralized. It's kind of like if you think back in the 70s, Nebraska was like one of 3 teams that was Nebraska, Notre Dame are always on TV. Yay! Because they were powers. And so kids would want to go there and play there. Well, everybody's on TV now. So Drew, last time, okay? Yay! So, like, everybody's on TV. So the advantage that Nebraska had all those years being on TV all the time was neutralized. And then kids are like, well, why would I go live in a cornfield in the Midwest and live in the snow for 8 months when I can go to Florida or California or Louisiana or anywhere and be on TV every week? Morning, Matt. If the next coach does not have Louisiana ties, would they have apprehension retaining Wilson and Raymond like Kelly year one? Well, remember, Brian Kelly hired Frank Wilson year one. So Wilson was at the time the McNeese coach, and Brian Kelly hired him back. He did not retain Corey Raymond, which was a giant mistake. And I think whoever was hired would be smart to retain Frank and Corey, assuming Frank's not the head coach. All right, please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. Glad to have you aboard with us.
Parish Construction and Roofing. At Parish, we've got you covered. From the top of your roof, all the way down. Parish Construction and Roofing. Parish built. Parish built. Parish built. From your hometown. ParishBuilt.com.
All right. Parish Construction Roofing. Hey, if you haven't heard yet, we've been talking about it, but at Parish, we're doing 12 days of Christmas, where for 12 days in December, we're going to bless a different family with a very cool giveaway. So Parish is putting up $1,000 for each winner. Duplessis Builders is putting up $1,000 for each winner. Chris's Specialty Foods is putting up Christmas dinner for each winner. And then Ruckus is doing a shoe voucher for the family for each winner as well. So we'll have 12 different prize packs for 12 different families to hope make Christmas a little more special this year for some families in need. So if you know families in need, I just posted the link in the chat. You could pass that link along, have them, or if you want to nominate somebody, we'll choose the winners at the end of November, and then we'll hand out those. We'll announce those winners there for 12 consecutive days, a different winner for 12 consecutive days in December. So we're looking forward to being able to do that. Let's go, Thomas. I love the energy, man. Arizona coach could be another Jay Johnson. I think one of the most interesting questions that this search committee is going to have to answer is, if you get Pat, like let's say you have your top tier, whatever, Kiffin, Lanning, Marcus Freeman, whatever that top tier looks like, realistic or not, right? I'm not saying that any of those would come. I'm just saying, like, let's say that's your top tier. And then the next tier is Eli Drinkwitz, Clark Lee, Kenny Dillingham, Jed Fish, that group, right? And then you go to another tier and it's like Kelvin Shepard, Joe Brady, the coordinators that you're talking about. Like, if you don't get the top tier, is the middle tier worth spending what you have to spend to get them? For example, what baby? What baby? JT Curtis, New Orleans Quarterbacks Club. There you go. My guys over here watching JT Curtis videos. Here, take it. Oh wait, so one more thought on that. So like, Eli Drinkwitz makes $9 million a year at Missouri. Okay. You were just paying Kelly 9.5. Like, do you really think it's worth paying Eli Drinkwitz $11-12 million a year? I don't. Like, he's won games at Missouri, but I also look at what he's done at Missouri, and I see a guy that the way that they schedule has been smart. Their non-conference is garbage, so they just stockpile 4 wins. He can go 5-3 in the league. So they go 9-3. He wins a bowl game against a team that with a bunch of opt-outs, he gets 10 wins. And then, oh, look, 10 wins. Okay, but like 5-3 in the SEC and a bunch of garbage non-conference wins is not going to satisfy people here, not for $11 million a year. I don't know that Drinkwitz is capable of the next step. Maybe he is. I don't know that he is. And that's a giant risk financially. Whereas I would say, like, I would rather go pay John Summerall. I would rather pay Kelvin Shepard. I would rather go pay Kenny Dillingham. Like, what's Kenny Dillingham making? Like, Dillingham's making 5.8. Could you pay Kenny Dillingham 7.5? I'd rather that than pay Drinkwitz $11 million. John, that's not what I wanted to do. Like, John Summerall is making $3 million a year. You could double John Summerall's salary from $3 to $6 million, and you're still $3.5 million per year less than what you were with Brian Kelly. And maybe have the guy that'll be your coach for the next 20 years. Maybe. And that might be a better hire than paying Drinkwitz $11 million. We won with a coach that didn't have the best time coaching USC and Ole Miss before and won a natty. I think Lane would do good here. I think Lane would be great. Will Burton, I think you've answered this before. Who are the 3 people you would call for head coach opening if you're Verge? Realistic options. Yeah, I mean, I kind of just answered that. I mean, I'm very much of the belief that if you can't get your top tier, would feel like no-brainers, right? Dan Lanning would be my number 1 choice, but he has said point blank, I'm not leaving Oregon. He said on the Rich Eisen show, he said, yeah, I'm not leaving Oregon. He said, I tell my kids, meaning his children, as long as dad wins, we'll be at Oregon. Like, the only way they won't be at Oregon is if he loses and gets fired. So I believe him completely. So, could you talk to Marcus Freeman or Lane Kiffin? I mean, the thing I've said about Freeman is I know there's a relationship there with Verge. Verge's son, Jaden, plays at Notre Dame. So Verge has been there a ton for his games and been around the program a bunch. So he knows Marcus Freeman. I mean, I think Freeman would take that call as a courtesy. I don't know that Freeman would leave Notre Dame, but would he take the call as a courtesy? I think, but what I've told you this connect the dots before as well. The same agent for Freeman is the same agent for Drinkwitz and John Sumrall and Mike Elko. And sometimes that's how that works. Like when LSU hired Nick Saban, you were close to hiring Tommy Tuberville. And there was a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths because of smoking cigars on the field that year. And so I was like, well, what about, can I introduce you to Nick Saban from Michigan State? Okay. So you start having that conversation with Jimmy Sexton. That's how those connect the dots start to happen. So, I think that's a real possibility. Anyway, all right, please smash the like button if you would, subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. About 5 minutes away from football. Y'all excited about it? Yay. Would y'all be happy with a competitive game, or is it win at all costs to consider Frank for the job? I think Frank has to win. It's not like moral victories. I think he's got to win. Morning, Matt. Long time watcher, first time commenter. Love the show. Thank you, Kelly. Appreciate that. Very kind. Thanks for being there. Oh, we got a spammer. A spammer in the chat. Michael Cook, good morning. Oop, where am I? Hey. Hello from the UK. All right. Good morning. David, we need a young, hungry coach, not the CEO type. I would largely agree with that. I think more than anything, more than that even, like to say the young, hungry type, like Kurt Cignetti's 64 years old and he's crushing it at Indiana. So like to just say you have to have a young coach, I don't agree with that. What I do think is you have to have a coach that will embrace the front office model, where you have a front office that's helping build the roster. And that allows the coach to coach the team. It doesn't have to be the coach having full autonomy over. I mean, I think coach should have the final say and obviously all this sort of stuff, but I don't need the coach necessarily to have full autonomy over every player you take and recruit. Like, I mean, you have to coach. The coach is to coach the team. It's like in the NFL, man. The GM does the contracts and, the draft comes along. And, of course, the coach is going to have a big say sitting in the draft room and all that stuff. But you have to have structure on how you build your roster, manage contract, salary, rev share, all that sort of stuff. And coach has to coach. What I don't want is the coach talking to players' agents about what it's going to take to get them back next year. I want the coach coaching the team. And I want the GM doing all that part of it. I think you just look down on Arkansas like you did Ole Miss and Vandy. Indy, I think, is the only team to hold them under 30. We haven't scored 30 against anyone in FBS, no matter how bad they're doing. Bro, I don't think you've watched Arkansas play. Like, I get Arkansas's offense is good. They're an atrocious football team. I mean, they're bad. They're really bad. Hey, Dad, good morning. Drew fix LSU. That's funny. Yay. All right. I'm sorry. I went to the bottom. I'm kind of scrolling. I'm seeing all the Drew comments now. Appreciate y'all. All right, y'all. We got about it's 11 o'clock. All right, let's get going, y'all, so we can go watch some football today. Let's enjoy this day. Hey, I will be live after the game. So right here, however you're watching us, I'll be live as soon as LSU and Bama's done. So we'll see you then. I do have my Locked On episode live. It's the preview and prediction episode. If you want to catch that, you can. Locked On LSU. And again, I've mentioned this before. I know so many of you watch Locked On LSU and on YouTube, and thank you so much for that. If you wouldn't, even if you prefer to watch on YouTube, that's awesome. If you could just go to your favorite podcast app, Apple, Spotify, Spreaker, whatever, and subscribe to the podcast on podcast, on audio. Just subscribe to even if you don't listen to it, if you subscribe to the audio version, I'm telling you, that would be a major help for me, because so much of how our structure works is way more weighted toward the audio side than the YouTube side. It's all helpful. So I'm super, super grateful no matter what. So thank you sincerely for everybody who has listened to or watched Locked On LSU. I mean, it has been awesome, and I'm super grateful for the growth. Last month we were number 1 in the college network and number 4 in the entire Locked On network. And I have a feeling that when we get our October numbers, we'll be even higher, considering the beginning of October was the Kyron Lacey story. And the end of October, obviously, was Brian Kelly being fired. So I'm going to go and assume that that Locked On LSU is going to be even higher in October. We haven't gotten all the final numbers yet, but anyway, I sincerely appreciate everyone who's supported Locked On LSU. It's been a great thing for me personally. So I very much appreciate it. So, okay. Y'all have an awesome day. Let's go watch some football and go Tigers. Let's get a win tonight.